All right, everyone, welcome to this special council meeting of Monday, May 12th, 2025, and thank you for joining. Municipality, the chair of this meeting, I'd like to begin in a good way by acknowledging the gratitude that we live and work on the traditional unceded territory of the Polish peoples that have been stewards of the land and water surrounding the so we have a special council meeting here today to receive members of our RCMP detachment. We have Corporal Robert Natari. I wanted to get the rank correct, and I believe this is Sergeant Gilmore with us here today. Yeah, welcome. Welcome. I think maybe what I'll do to start off is just introduce the other elected members of our council here today, as well as the other folks that are in the room. Starting on my far right, we have Councillor Alex Jurgensen. To his left is Councillor Islands Trustee Sue on the back. To her right is Councillor Islands Trustee Judy Getty. To my far left is Councillor Tim Wake. His right is Councillor Allison Morse.
And Councillor Saunders is on his way.
And Councillor Saunders is on his way. And we're also joined by members of our professional staff team here today, including our Chief Administrative Officer, Kieran Dillon, as well as our Deputy Corporate Officer, Steph Short. And with that, we'll get the meeting underway. So the first item on the agenda, I'll look for the introduction of any late items. There are any. Let's just do with the formalities. So I can have someone move the agenda, please. Moved by Councillor Getty, seconded by Councillor Jurgensen. All in favor, raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That carries unanimously. And we are on to questions and discussions on 2.1, Middle Island RCMP detachment and the 2024 year presentation. Any comments that you'd like to make on the presentation generally, or is it just here for conversation?
Are they going to present it?
Yeah. Okay, great.
We're going to present it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's up on screen here. Yep.
And somewhere in the middle.
So.
There we go.
I mean, yeah, but we could go to the next one. Maybe start with the next slide there. Yeah, that one there. So first of all, thank you for having us here.
Thank you for coming.
You said, I'm Robert. So I'm in charge of the Bowen Island detachment from an operational standpoint.
Yeah.
And Jim is my boss. He's the ops commander that I report to. And he's looks after two detachments, Pemberton and Bowen. He's really in charge of the provincial detachments in the Sea to Sky corridor. So that would be Bowen Island and Pemberton together. There has been a shuffle. Last year when I was here, I was reporting to Inspector Dykstra, which some of you met. That has changed. So the inspector is still in charge of the whole Sea to Sky as it is. He comprises 4 detachments. Bowen Island, Pemberton are 2. Our Sea to Sky admin manager is Amanda Daly.
Oh, right.
And then the structure is Sergeant Gilmore, myself, and we have 2 constable, Balltown, Brian Cusperton. I'm sure you guys met. And then Melanie is our detachment clerk. That's the structure. I want to point out that last year we said that for that year there was no big changes happening. Unfortunately, this year, sad to say, that myself, this is my last year here, so I will be exiting my position, along with Constable Town is also exiting as a constable in his position. So our term is up. The way Bowen
Feels like we just got you yesterday.
very sad.
Yeah.
It's sad for me, like I love it here, but it is what it is. That's the nature of our job. Bowen Island is a limited duration post in the world of the RCMP, which means limited duration.
Yeah.
Once your 3 years are up, you're gone, relocated to a new post.
You spoiled for a new post. You spoiled for a new post.
This is great. Like I would retire here if possible. Unfortunately, yeah, we'll be losing two positions. Myself and Town are exiting, so it's already in the works on who's going to replace. Nothing been identified as of yet. Typically on Bowen Island, you could ask for an extension for the year, right? Fortunately, the ripple effects from Surrey police transitioning from the RCMP to municipal force is impacting Bowen as well, because the members that are in Surrey who don't want to remain in Surrey are given priority on positions, so they want to make Bowen available to them if they want, so for now, there's been a freeze on the extensions that were typically granted to members on Bowen that could stay an extra year. Otherwise, we would definitely ask for that extra year. That's, hopefully it comes back when Surrey settles. So that's the change in the office structure, that's the detachment issue.
Councilor Jorgensen.
Through the chair, what's the timeline on the departures? Has that been settled yet?
So it's not like for myself. Not yet, because until they identify an incoming to replace me, they will not give me a date. But it is estimated that it'll be like probably end of August. That I and it's from Constable Town, he's probably looking at July. Yeah, you're welcome. All pending whether they find a replacement.
Councilor Morris.
Can we put in for maybe not till October, till Thanksgiving, because we've got all sorts of things, issues that happen during the summer probably, and it would be really nice to have.
That's being
people
taken
here
into
to do
account,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't identify someone, it's a given that Bowl Fest typically is our last big festival.
Yeah.
Try to be around for that. Yeah.
That's good.
So is it likely then that we'll be getting officers from Surrey?
We don't know. They've been given first priority. If they choose to come here. Yeah,
That will take some retraining. Downtown Surrey's very different.
yeah. Well, keep in mind that whoever asks for Bowen. Even if it's Suriname, they have to be vetted, right? So if they don't meet, the requirements.
Is there overlap so that you can clue them in to?
Maybe that's the idea.
Yeah.
It would be, yeah, that would be the way to go, is we can introduce them to the community.
Yeah.
They have to live on the island, correct?
They will be living on the island.
Yeah, so that.
It is highly likely that they living on the island.
that
There's
limit
there's houses
who applies, because if they've already got housing that they purchased or something, out being in Surrey, they're not gonna wanna commute every day.
they have to be within a certain operational response time. So if they decide to stay in Surrey, it won't be acceptable because, I mean, we're on an island, they have to be here. Yeah, it's gonna be expected of them.
And Sea to Sky starts in Lions Bay.
So see, this guy starts forward.
Yeah, but I mean, how big, where does the Sea to Sky, it starts at the West Vancouver boundary?
Yeah, so it'll be Bowen, and then it will be, when you reach Horseshoe Bay, that'll be West Vancouver. And then as you go up to 99,
Sorry, everyone. How's it going?
Hello.
I'm John. I'm the late kid.
Robert, you met last year.
Yes, we did.
This is Jim Gilmore.
I do.
He's a sergeant with Sea to Sky, so he's my boss. And he's in charge of Bowen. Sergeant. He's not in uniform today because he has an injury, so he's on my duty. But he's a fully fledged sergeant, RCMP member, years ago.
Seem a little young to be a sergeant to me, but that's just my experience.
Maybe you're getting old.
Well, there's that, but used to be co-constable for life back in the day.
Yeah, so to answer, yes, it starts at Lions. Okay, on 99 and it continues all the way up to Benton.
It's where the borderline.
there's a bit of a gap there on that. Good territory. I guess we can go to the next slide. So this little, like, we put that in because we didn't know if we were coming to talk to you this year or not, so, but in essence, this is just what the vision is. Not the RCMP, we got your RCMP. Kind of falls in line with our strategic priorities that we'd like to hear what the community issues is, what the community issues are, and then design the policing model around those issues. Obviously, like our main mandate is still public safety. But any particular issues that stand out, we are your RCMP. I'd like to partner up with the stakeholders to hear where we can give assistance. This goes really into detail about same as last year, nothing has changed here. These are our strategic priorities that we identified with regards to enhancing public safety. So one of the objectives is to enhance restorative justice, focus on crime prevention and reduction, make our roads safer, prepared to respond to emergencies. The next slide, another priority is service excellence and workplace culture. Same as last year, we talked about it. One of the objectives is training, development, and equipment. Improve internal communication, employee collaboration, and the third objective is employee rights. The next slide. Our third priority, accountability and governance. So one of the objectives is implement governance frameworks, improve external communication. And the third objective is equity, diversity, and inclusion. Next slide, we go right into the statistical analysis that we did on all the calls for duty for Bowen. So what we did see for 2024 is an increase in the number of uttering threats. We did see an increase in the number of frauds, an increase in the number of mischiefs. There was a decrease in auto thefts from vehicle, decrease in false alarms, decrease in cause of disturbance and intoxicated in public, decrease in missing persons files, increase in mental health related files, an increase in violation tickets issued, and an increase in the total number of calls for service in general. The next slide goes into specific details of all the different types of calls for service. I'm not going to go through all of them, but pretty much previous slide captured all the increases and decreases. Then the next slide is different calls for services with the number of calls that we kind of compare it to previous years for both. And the next one is the same. Shows more road safety and traffic, and the total number of calls for services jumped. Compared to last year.
The road vehicles, it's, I guess, the collisions or there have been a number of cars off the road
Yeah.
and into the ditch and stuff like that, including one that I noticed yesterday. Is almost at where Adams Road and Grafton Road. There's a white thing in there. I've seen more of those, so it seemed odd. Where are they a collision or where would they?
They would be considered collision, so next year in 2025, you'll see those particular cars that you mentioned,
Yeah.
they're gonna be part of the statistic.
And there
It would be a
seems to be
collision.
more of them all of a sudden. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we noticed that trend.
Yeah. but we don't know what causes them.
We do, yeah, in the sense of transparency, I can tell you the one that happened the other day was an impaired investigation.
So what?
Impaired investigation, so it involved drinking and driving.
So then I guess we're not gonna see a maybe reduction in that because there's no way to get home. Because there's no taxi service.
We may not, but that, we can't accept that. Yeah,
Thanks.
but you may be right, that may be one of the underlying causes of it all. So. That is an interesting, point of view. Could be. But nevertheless, it is not acceptable, so.
Oh, no, I totally agree with you on that. I was wondering if it's gonna be something that's just gonna be carrying on, if there's some sort of awareness campaign we can.
You know, that's a good idea, because if that is an underlying cause for it. We have a way to address it.
We're good.
So the number of impaired on your. Yes, that file. So the number of impaired are down, but all of the other IRP, I would assume that's the suspension.
Yeah, the IRP would be like an impaired investigation instead of criminal code would be under the provincial act. Where,
Greater than 30 days is increased. So that's about the only increase. Has there been, I find that when I gave talks to Rotary and things like that, and I can explain to people the full extent of the expense and the, you know, if you get an impaired charge and it's a full year suspension, and then you have to take the program in terms of getting your license back, and then your insurance has gone up, and then you've got towing, and then you've got, you know, all of this kind of stuff. People were amazed at
that's great.
the full extent of it, right?
Yeah.
I find the more that information is shared, then
That's good.
people actually take a lot of more thought in terms of.
I like that. Yeah. Maybe another happen where we can come and do a presentation if that is required. Like we would love.
We'll give you some time at the pub. Have a full on with slides, you know. Saturday night is really busy, that'd be good.
Well, we'll be. Yeah, we'll be out and about in a different way. Why are we talking that much? That's what that's.
Thank you. I'm curious about whether you've been hearing, because it doesn't look like there's that much difference in the impaired numbers. Whether you're hearing about the headlights and how they're brighter now and the different scope. I'm just hearing about people being blinded by the headlights on the newer, higher vehicles. Is that something you've been hearing about, or?
You know, there was one accident, one collision that occurred and the driver stated that fact. It was like, I couldn't see where I was going because it's oncoming car had bright lights.
Right. Okay, but only the one.
That's the only one that I heard from the driver himself. 'Cause of
Right.
the vision.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody feels that the light is bright and as they're driving, but they make it home safe, unfortunately, we wouldn't hear about it.
I was just curious about whether you'd heard. Thank you very much.
But a collision happened and that's what he said.
Yeah. Thank you.
I crashed because I couldn't see the lights were.
Thank you.
So it is possible.
Prior to my having my cataract surgery, I was told by the optometrist not to drive at night.
Yeah.
Because the lights and the glare were one of the issues.
Yeah.
With people that are needing cataract surgery, so if seniors are not going and getting their eyes tested, and the lights and glare is common. I think she basically said with the glare that if I was in an accident, I would be charged because I shouldn't have been driving at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's working.
Through the chair, what are driving complaints?
Driving complaints would be someone that calls us and says, this red car made a right-hand turn from Cardina, is going up Bowen Iron Trunk Road, and he didn't put a signal on. he's going fast, stuff like that. They call and they complain about something that related to the.
If there's complaints about the ferry lineup, and people getting, not violent, but certainly aggressive.
Yeah.
And, you know, and is there any point where, the RCMP would think that it would be, part of your jurisdiction to get involved?
If there's any sign of violence, absolutely, from the public safety, like we'd be there, yeah, if there's any like, you can't park in the crosshatches, you can't tell me what to do, we'll be there, yeah, definitely. Can we take it in under the bylaw for crosshatch? Yeah, I think there's a bylaw for parking in crosshatches, but typically when we get there,
Is there one?
I think there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But typically when we get there, listen, you can't be in a crosshatch, you have to move.
You got the gun. You have the authority.
I'm looking back under the green one on property crime. The frauds have increased tremendously, like from
Yes.
5 in 2022 to 21 in 2024. Are these the computer frauds or the telephone frauds or what do you,
Everything,
yeah,
yeah, Bitcoin fraud,
yeah, so the people phoning
Sending
saying
money
they're from
fraud.
Visa and one, yeah.
from Visa fraud, yeah, any type of fraud. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Last year we did the talk at the senior center.
Yeah.
That was very well received and we appreciate it. We teamed up with First Credit Union manager. And he came out and he talked about, you know, the banking aspect of fraud. It was really well received. Maybe we'll look at doing that again, but it's not only seniors, unfortunately, that fall prey to these scams. And it's very sophisticated, unfortunately.
And I guess the other one was mischief under 5,000. Went from 10 in 2022 to 23 in 2024. So what's mischief?
Like somebody calls, says, somebody broke the window on my car. Something like that. In mischief, somebody kicked in my fence. It's mischief. Vandalism is typically, think of mischief, yeah.
Okay.
Councilor Saunders, followed by Councilor.
Through the chair, I'd be particularly interested for B&Es, but for the others as well. What are your clearance rates? Like,
What am I, what?
what's the clearance rate of them? Like these are reported. So
These are
there's
reported.
been, we're looking at like 18 B&Es over the last 3 years. How many of those were cleared as charged or?
Yeah, I think we talked about this last year, so these are reports. that-
Yes, I understand that.
It's like, hey, there's a B&E in it. We have to respond to it as a B&E.
Right.
Treat it as, till we find out it's a B&E.
Right, and my question is how many of these are cleared by charge? These.
Very little, very little.
Councilor Good.
I can't say zero, unfortunately, it does happen.
So of the ones that have increased, the assaults, the frauds, and the mischiefs, are they mostly on island people or visitors involved? I suppose, I would think the fraud could be from anywhere, but the assaults and mischiefs of that.
Yeah, the mischief is, not even the assaults, it's typically people that live on. Yeah. I haven't had
The neighbor dispute
knock
or
on wood, neighbor disputes. Go in residents, for some reason get into, you know, arguments. We haven't had any trouble with visitors. People coming to visit Bowen, typically, biggest challenge for us is like, I need help, where are you? I'm up Mount Gardner, I don't know where I am. What trail am I on? Can you come and get me? That's it. Yeah, they don't seem to cause violence. But they get lost a lot.
Say with a smile on your face.
Lead up there. Yeah.
Councilor Good.
I guess the last comment I had somewhere in all of these statistics, you say that there's, mental health related charges. Or, calls. So, is that something that, as a municipal council, that, need to pay more attention to in terms of trying to get more resources or advocating for, and is it age related?
It could be, last year, I think there was a councilor asked that question, like, it's very high, but keep in mind that it could be a group of people, like 4 people could also, it's not like that you have 40 cases of mental health related files that police get involved and it's 40 people, like, I don't want to make it look like it's a, some type of problem. It could be 3 people that are constantly requiring the attention. And we do something about it, I'm sure there's ways.
Is it age related? Their demographics? In terms of seniors or youth or that, I think one of the things that triggered us, my wanting to have some sort of time with you was the letter that we got from, is it Constable Town?
Yeah.
In terms of the youth center, and we're gonna be having more discussions with, rec apparently in terms of their recommendations and budget.
Yeah, that's great.
But in terms of these, relatively high numbers of mental health related files, regardless of the numbers of people, their demographics that we should pay more attention to.
It is youth, but it's also adults. It's hard to think about it. But would youth benefit for sure? Because yeah, it does. It is related to them, but it's also adults as well. Going on Paul's letter about the grant. I'm glad you brought it up because I'd like to talk to you in this setting also. Like I have some more information to share about that.
It's a good time.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, so we got an hour, like.
Yeah, so maybe, so what we've got, so we just went through, just present sort of where we are, we went through the calls, the breakdown of calls, had, fielded the questions on. We want to go through the rest of the presentation, and if there's other general main pieces, if there's parts around the center that we want to discuss, we can, but this is really an opportunity for Patrick to present some of their facts and figures, and then get the Q&A from council, and then if there's broader community questions or discussions we want to have, we can have that after.
Okay.
Good.
This is a heat map of all the calls we discussed. Does it say anything? I don't really think so. It shows that it's spread relatively. We respond to every corner of the one.
But the bulk are in the Cove area.
It is, yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, this one here, we're still very committed to working with the schools. We've done presentations with them about the illicit effects of using illicit drugs. We talked about drugs, alcohol use with the schools. We do like safety. I think they're putting another one together soon. We'll be at Bix doing a bike rodeo. And then we're gonna take some time. We invited someone to come and kind of do like a workshop where kids can bring their bike in and we assess it, see if it's roadworthy, if it's missing any lights on it, for example, and then do a quick checkup, tune-up. Coffee with a cop. We're still planning to do that. I think I think it's a good idea. We meet, invite you to it, sit down, instead of these like formal meetings, we can just go and have a coffee and talk about stuff. more often. And the next slide is, pretty proud that, we got funding to buy 2 road bikes, so that's Constable Town and Constable Cuthbertson. They're both trained operationally to use RCMP bikes, believe it or not. You have to be formally trained to get on a bike. And it's an intense course from what I hear. It's a week long. So they're trained on it. We got the bike, so we plan to have them in the community. I think from Bowen especially, patrolling on a bike is just much better because you're, as a police officer, you're more approachable. Like you're not boxed in a car. If you saw if you're gonna coffee shop on a bike, people have a tendency to want to come up and talk to you more, so. We're looking forward to that. And the next one is the Swan Island work with the youth center to acquire the, well, not to acquire. I still haven't heard if we were successful in proceeding in being awarded. When you're not, I don't know. But I do understand that, this council kind of concerned that even with the money, there needs to be like some type of program in place to implement. And I wanted to share this, that not long ago, a couple of months maybe, we were contacted by the Youth Friendly North Shore. Not sure if anybody's familiar with it, but it's a 3-year initiative. It's funded by Public Safety Canada through the Building Safer Communities Fund. It's led by North Vancouver, RCMP. Well, actually, it's a North Vancouver district. North Vancouver RCMP, I guess, is the main stakeholder. But Bowen RCMP was contacted and recognized as a stakeholder in this youth-friendly North Shore program. And we've already participated in a couple of meetings. And it looks like what they call the way it's formatted is it's like a situation table where you'll have all the stakeholders present at the table, be it from the ministry, be it from the Justice Department, be it from police, health and care, crisis support, sports and rec, kindergarten to grade 12 educators. They're all there at the same table. So I think this is a very unique opportunity to actually get input. And the whole goal is if you have somebody in trouble, whether it's a child, a youth, or an adult, it's open to adults. You bring these cases to this situation table, and all these professionals, experts weigh in on what resources, what avenues could be, taken to help the person that is being recognized as a need. I think that since we're talking also on a program to present for how to manage the youth center, if it actually ever was to happen, is maybe, I don't know if you wanna bring one of your representatives to one of these meetings. Because this is pretty much where you share ideas and everybody brings their professional hat and you tap into their expertise. So I think if your youth coordinator wanted to come out to one of these or something to get input and ideas, there's gonna be people there that have already run a youth center and already have like a solid program that they can share and give ideas and input. So we've been recognized and we've been asked to participate as a stakeholder, but maybe if one of your community members wants to come out, we'd be glad to bring along.
That would be productions.
More information on this, if you go to the District of North Vancouver website, so it's www.dnv.org. Or just go to Google search for youth friendly North Shore. It'll bring you right there. There's a lot of information there on that run.
Did you just have an in-person meeting by any chance at the Foundry?
We had an in-person meeting and a meeting on Teams.
Oh,
One virtual and one in person.
was the in-person one just recently? I'm wondering if there's another committee on the North Shore that sounds like it's similar, so I
They
was,
would be there,
yeah,
for sure. Probably 3 weeks ago, we were there in person.
okay.
Can't remember the date, but when that one, we said possible customers, he went. And when he came back, he said, oh, wow, the youth coordinator, when he should have been here because everybody was talking about youth programs and. Yeah. And the next slide is the speed watch. So we're very happy to report that we've identified a group of volunteers this year. They've signed up. Obviously, they're eager to take this on. Took a while well, it didn't take us, we did a criminal record background check for them, but because this is something that's sponsored by RCBC, does require that they undergo a particular security screening through the RCMP for a certain level of clearance. Although they may not need it, because I mean, it's not that they're working in the RCMP detachment, but the level of clearance is just that high that they need to clear them for call it a level access, level 2 to come into the RCMP detachment supervised, so. We have 3 members identified. 2 members just received that, so we put in a request a while ago for that level of clearance, and now they're cleared. So, May 9th, they were out there. I think May 9th, they focused on Village Drive. They were there. And their goal is to monitor the cars that are committing an infraction. Because they have the speed reader board that is showing them their speed, they can actually like take off, okay, this person was going 10 kilometers over the limit, this person was going 20 kilometers over the limit. We gather all that information, share it with XCBC, but also if there's a license plate that gets captured, it's an opportunity for us to educate the registered owner with a letter. And we just tell them, listen, on this day, at this time, your vehicle was noted doing this speed at this location, consider this warning. Be advised that the speed limit on this road is this much. So we can engage education with in an effort to reduce speeding. So, yeah, it looks like they're pretty eager to continue with it.
Yeah, that's great. I think there's a few neighborhoods that really
Absolutely,
appreciate having that.
yeah.
It's a fantastic initiative.
Yeah, so part of this introduction that we did to the volunteers, we used what the RCMP calls a police support program to ride along. So you come out, ride with an RCMP officer and kind of get, exposure to that job. So for the speed watch, we took them out on a ride along with the police observer program, and we showed them all the hot spots where we're getting complaints from. This person is speeding in my neighborhood. That would be your driving. and we showed them all these hotspots, so yeah. Expect that they'll be out picking, choosing all these areas to set up their operations.
Councilor Whitney.
So there's a number, I live on Gates Hill, and the two that you've signed up are on Gates Hill.
All three are actually, let's see.
Oh, that's what it's, okay, okay, so it's a great team. But in conversations with them and others, we've really noticed an increase in the volume of traffic on Village Drive. And clearly, a lot of it is not people who live on Gates Hill, they're taking an alternate route, maybe to bypass congestion in here or for whatever reason. And a lot of them are really in a hurry, and unfortunately for that road, lends itself to, especially going uphill, to get pretty heavy on the pedal. So when we were talking about this earlier, you mentioned there is no speed limit sign coming down the hill, and there's only one going up the hill. And so I guess a suggestion that maybe we could bring forward to Public Works is to get some more signs up.
100%.
And I mean, eventually, maybe we should be considering speed bumps there. I'm sure there would be complaints about the speed bumps, but if we did the speed watch for a while and found that we really weren't getting any improvement, then maybe we should look at that as an option.
Okay, it's good data. Back up any decision.
Yeah.
But the speed signs are a must. Like as an RCMP officer, I can't even give a warning that really if you don't even know what the speed limit is. Like I can't say, you should have known it's 30. There's no sign, right? So you definitely need to get those in place. Yeah.
Right.
I think. Not sure if it has to go through this council, but like we can talk to the works department. They have speed signs right there. Just, they can probably put one up. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
As far as emergencies, we're still working with the Emergency Operations Center. Tess invited us for, they got an event coming up on May 22nd, we will be there. And I understand she's gonna try to put one together for the fall, actual tabletop of some kind. So, but yeah, we'll definitely be there for that, so we just continue to participate in those.
So with the emergency plan, do you have insights to share from other RCMP detachments where they've had to evacuate people?
And they had to evacuate people.
Yes. I'm just thinking there's going to be a whole bunch of people that aren't going to want to go. What do you do?
Yeah, so if that happens, so if they would say, a fire, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We have to evacuate people, like, we do go door to door. Telling people that there's an evacuation notice. We don't have the authority to drag people out by their ankles. If they choose to remain, they choose to remain. However, having said that, like we make absolutely sure that they understand that there's nobody coming forward. But if they wanted to stay, they stay, but they have the lockdown in place, they can't just keep wandering, because looting is their biggest enemy there, right? When you're staying behind, who's telling you that you're not gonna go to your neighbor's house and start taking all the artwork? But, we can't arrest people for not wanting to evacuate, so it's hard, it's very hard. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, this one here, still working on trying to get a quote on Bowen Island. We'll see how that goes. We do share, the one that you see in the picture is the rib that we do share with Sea to Sky. So, it's coming to Bowen for the Race Around Bowen event that's coming up in June. That's the boat. Just like last year, we're gonna have it here. We're gonna participate in the Race Around Bowen with it. We did ask for purchasing from the province to get it all. We don't know where that is at, it's still. I haven't heard anything about that. We have a fingerprint scanner. Now to process criminal record checks, visa applications, citizenship applications, right as an attachment. We've been using it. And we are thrilled with it. And so I think it's a really good service to the community to be able to do prints right there on the spot of the product. We were still doing the old ink and paper method. It was just not feasible. Get with the times. So yeah, we got approved to purchase that. It's installed. We've been using it. It's working great. And we've also asked for funding from the province to make our public service employees, so that would be Melanie, a full-time position, because right now she's part-time. So we feel great. The one is growing. Number of calls are increasing. Full-time PSE. I think it's a must. And I'm not sure if it's in this presentation, but there are body cameras coming this fall to Sea to Sky. It will be rolling January. Yeah. So because of that, PSC will probably be more involved in downloading the data and maintaining that. So they're making her a full-time position. I think. I don't think the province will deny that. So. We're still launching our monthly call service in the undercurrent. Very good things about that. People seem to be happy to read them and appreciate it. So we will continue that. I'm exiting, unfortunately, but Ryan Cusperton, he's taken on this initiative. He's doing a good job. So we're also trying to work at continuity. When I leave, like whoever is left here is taking on more roles, so that there's a continuation. Or see if it's possible continuation of operations. Ryan is doing the monthly calls for service in the underground, working with Alex. Yeah, it was a point in the going forward in 2025. Going on, RCMP will be obtaining body worn cameras in the fall, so January of 2026, that's changed. We're going to continue publishing the monthly stats in the paper. Expect to see police officers on patrol on mountain bikes. Coffee with the Cop is still an event that we feel it's worthy of every once in a while meeting. We're going to continue being at the schools, doing drug and safety and road safety, bike safety being one of the focuses. Volunteer group will be in the neighborhood under the Speed Watch program. So we have three people have signed up for this volunteer program. 2 are fully cleared. 1 should be cleared shortly. And we're just going to continue doing check stops on the road to deter impaired driving, especially. As we did see the tick up when you mentioned I don't know, recently there's just been more and more cars in the ditch, it seems, or against the tree, something like that. So we suspect that it's, there's an upward tick in, impaired, number of impaired driving, so we'll take action and do a bit more check stops. If not stop, that's it.
Put to council for any questions, comments, discussion. Not seeing any, I guess, oh, Councilor Durgan.
Each year, I just want to thank you and your detachment program you do in the community. We can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that.
Not to close, I would just echo that. We've always had a strong relationship with RCMP on the island. We'll be sad to see you go, as we do all of our officers here. But I'm sure you'll, as the sun comes out, you'll enjoy a last summer here and the last boat fest here. If there's anything you need from us, and in turn, just feel free to let us know. So thank you for your service to the island, and thank you for being here, and thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Okay. And with that, we are concluded. Just a motion to adjourn.
We're adjourning for lunch with our guests.
Yep. Moved by Councilor Getty, seconded by Councilor